I'm milling about with Dan Fogler. There he is. Hi, Dan.
Hello. How are
Dan,
you?
I love your background, although I don't think I would accept anything less.
Oh, good. Yes, this is posters of all of my comic books that are coming out in August with Heavy Metal Magazine. So yeah, so I've been using this background for all of my virtual cons and interviews and stuff like that. So it
No,
helps.
it really works. You've been a really busy guy. So, like, just starting out this new year, you've got 3 graphic novels, you've got
Yeah.
a podcast, and you didn't get killed off in season 10 in The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Yes, I've been busy. Yeah, I have. Yeah, my podcast has been keeping me sane. Being able to talk to people outside of my family, and yeah, this is the Dan Fogler 4D Xperience podcast, and we've had some really great guests. I've been kind of slowly going through all the Walking Dead cast and the Fantastic Beasts cast. So I'm pretty sure if you have a favorite character in one of those, I've interviewed them. So check that out. And then my 3 comic books are with Heavy Metal Magazine. I have one graphic novel coming out called Moonlake, and that is my like Twilight Zone-y kind of graphic novel. And
Wait,
then
wait, we've got to talk about each one. You've got
okay.
zombie dinosaurs. Is this correct? Like, what are they eating exactly?
Oh, this is an excellent question. Yeah, they're eating. They still like, they guess they eat whatever they're directed to eat, because they're like hypnotized essentially. Um, except for one, because probably the most powerful character in the book is this character named Cave Girl, and she grows evolves into this very powerful sorceress, and she's able to cross over to the other side, and she eventually gains the power to speak to the dead, speak to ghosts. So she is able to unhypnotize one of these creatures, and it becomes Z-Rex, which is this like pet zombie Tyrannosaurus Rex that follows her around like a lost puppy, and protects her with his life. And this is like one of the many duos in Moonlake. Yeah.
Was Robert Kirkman aware of your zombie comic book when you joined The Walking Dead? Did you tell him you were writing something like this?
I haven't had the honor of. I think I like brushed shoulders with him at one of the premieres, and it was just like a million people around, and I was just like, hey, and he's like, oh, and then that was it. Like, I haven't really had a full conversation with the man, although I hear that he's very happy with my work. And um yeah, I know we never got to have that conversation. One day we'll sit down and I'll be able to tell him, oh my God, I've been a fan of the Walking Dead comic book since the beginning. And by the way, here are all my comic books, signed, please, as a gift. And yeah, I hope to work with him for a long, long while. I like what he writes, and it seems like The Walking Dead is gonna. Well, we'll see what happens, but it's semi-prophetic, and I think it will continue in some form. They have many plans for it to just become The Walking Dead globally, essentially.
Yeah, it's so funny because I was actually in Sonoy, Georgia in the
Yeah.
very, very beginning stages of The Walking Dead. I did like a whole media tour, and I said, what's your deal with AMC? And they said 2020. And they knew back then that they were going to be doing 10 years. Is that crazy?
Wait a minute. They knew 10 years?
They knew 10 years ago they were doing 10 years at least. It was like signed on the dotted line.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Well, we're doing at least 11, right? They just got picked up for another one, so we surpassed that prediction. That's amazing.
I know. And obviously you're
A
still,
deal, a 10-year deal. That's a nice deal, man.
obviously your character is still in the show, I imagine.
Well, I definitely I'm in the finale. I'm not going to say anything after that. Um, and of course, oh my God, that's so. Ooh, it's so spooky when I say it like that. But I can't really talk about it. But I'm excited to see the finale coming up. And if I make it through, I hope that I continue on. It's with me. It's always a scheduling thing
Mm.
with Fantastic Beasts. So it's like, am I going to be able to squeeze in the next Fantastic Beasts and be able to jump onto their next season? Hopefully, it'll all work out. But I'm just happy that I made it this far. I was only supposed to last one season. I was only supposed to be, like, according to the comic book, I was only supposed to go to the end of season 9, and then I was supposed to be, one of the heads on those pikes. And I made it past that, that watermark. And then this last, I'm so happy that I did, because this last season 10 has been like what I wanted, what I really wanted to get into the show to do. Like I got that Western feel. I got to ride the horses, and I really got that zombie apocalypse feel, being surrounded by many zombies and having to fight my way out. And I love the new weapon they gave me. And this last season was a lot of fun for me. So yeah, I hope, have you been watching it? You've been enjoying it?
Hello. It is like my nightly pleasure. First of all, I am so in love with Norman Reedus. I think I was one of the first
Yeah.
I think that seriously, I think it was one of the first people that ever interviewed Norman, although he will totally forget this back in the day. So yeah, I'm such a big fan.
He came on my show. I interviewed him on the 40X podcast. So you should, if you're a fan, you should listen to that. It was a good one.
I absolutely will. Are you taking anything home from the set, Dan? Are you trying to like pilfer anything?
Like bug bites. Like that's what listen. What do I take home from the set? Wow, dirt, fake blood. Yeah, caked in blood. Yeah, fun stories. Basically, yeah, I learned from Fantastic Beasts has trained me, not to take anything unless it's gifted to me.
Oh, how is
Because yeah, well, Fantastic Beasts, like they made like a real big deal about, like, don't take any props, don't take anything, because I guess on Harry Potter, all the kids abuse that rule. They just, like, I think like Daniel Radcliffe has like 27 different pairs of his glasses. He just was like, I don't know where I lost them again. I don't know. Like he just kept on like stealing his glasses. So when it got to us, they were just like, no, there's cameras everywhere. Don't take a damn thing, And so I waited until the very end, and then I went to Colleen Atwood, who is the amazing costume master, and I said, is there anything, from my costume I could take, like a little something, a piece of cloth? And then she let me keep my socks. So I have my socks from the first movie, and I have my socks from the second movie. So I'm making a tradition where I get my socks at the end. But
Are you wearing them at least? Are you wearing the socks? Or
No, they're very small. I only bring them out for like special occasions and like premieres and stuff like that. But the first the first movie I had I had a mismatching socks, so that's a hard one to wear out. That was, but that was cool because I got two pairs of socks that time. Yeah, and then The Walking Dead, I never. Yeah, I haven't taken anything. Um,
Well, if they
yeah,
put your head on a spike, Dan, you need to steal that immediately.
exactly. I got to keep my plaster head. That's what I. That's a great souvenir.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So another comic novel, graphic novel, I want to talk to you about is Brooklyn Gladiator,
Oh,
and it's
great.
very prophetic of you because it's set in the year 2033, and half of it is true in 2020. It's
Yeah, you can
scary.
say that again. Yeah, I took the headlines um, basically over the last few years leading up to the recent election, and I thought, man, if I turn up the dial on some of these headlines to like 15, 20 years in the future, we're going to be in a dystopian Orwellian world that, that we were warned about. Um, and it's definitely a version of that, Blade Runner technocracy, the Matrix technocracy, where um, the technology is just flooded, in every aspect of everybody's lives, and it's inescapable. And the hero, John Miller, um, much like Neo in the Matrix, he has this, feeling in the back of his mind that there's more to what they're being fed, on a regular basis. So he rejects everything and he goes inside and he finds, like, everyone else in the world is leaning toward the singularity. They're just like, yes, more tech, yes, heal me with the tech, and give me, give me super like perfect sight and perfect hearing, and and clean my blood, and that's the nanite technology that's pervasive. And he rejects it, and he starts meditating, and he starts finding skills um, that are totally natural, um, that are on the astral plane, and he becomes a sort of a psychic, like a modern Jedi in a lot of ways. And so that's at the core. That's the core question of Brooklyn Gladiators. Are we more powerful, combining with technology, or sloughing off the scaffold of technology and finding the power that we have within ourselves already? That's the message in Brooklyn Gladiator. And on the outside, John Miller, he looks like, John McClane and Schwarzenegger had a baby. He just looks like a cage fighting meathead. But on the inside, he's really going through like a spiritual awakening. How was that? That was good.
That is the best description, Dan, that I have ever heard, ever. Love it. Um,
Wow.
why did you set it in Brooklyn? Why Brooklyn? I'm from
Why?
Brooklyn originally, so I'm very curious.
Yeah, me too. I grew up in Brooklyn. You're supposed to write what you know.
Sure.
So I'm finding that it's funny because New York, Brooklyn, is the melting pot. It's this epicenter of, you walk around Brooklyn. I grew up in Brooklyn, and I spent a lot of time in, a couple of different boroughs in New York, and there's so much history, and the energy is in Brooklyn. It's like nowhere else in the world. It's like,
Yeah.
and then when I don't know how close you were to 9/11 when it happened,
I, I
but
was
I was.
I was there.
Yeah, so I was about 20 blocks away from 9/11. Like I woke up to the vibrations of the the first building.
Mm.
And so that combination, my hometown unraveling before my eyes, that was that definitely sparked my interest, and to figure out what the hell's going on with our world, and I definitely filtered that through my work. I feel like and New York right now is the epicenter for a lot of. I feel like it's like New York is like an experiment or something, and or it's like this major energy node, and so much happening there that you can't deny that it's like the epicenter of the world in a lot of ways.
It's so interesting that you say that, because when coronavirus first hit us, we would often visit our neighbors and joke that we're going to turn into zombies.
Yeah.
It's like, really, we were like joking about it, but
that's the first thing I thought of when the headlines started to come out about, when did COVID start? Did it start in November? Did it start in January? Or like, how long has this thing been around? And do we all have it? And it's like, maybe, ooh. And hello, microphone. That reminded me of that episode in The Walking Dead when they break in, I think it's the end of season 1, and they break into the underground military facility, and they have that actor there from The Truman Show, who is the buddy from The Truman Show, and says to Rick, whispers to Rick, he says, "We're all infected. Everyone's infected." I think of that. I mean, it's crazy. So many, the artists are tapped in,
oh, absolutely.
those of who are right-brained, whether they have inside information or they're just picking up in their dreams from the collective subconscious, which is what I'm doing. I mean, it's crazy what's happening in my books.
You read my mind. You read my mind, because I was just going to ask you what your dreams are like. I mean, you must have insane dreams.
I do. I do. I have wild dreams, and they have been, wilder recently. They come in waves, and I find I do a lot of work where I try to answer a lot of questions in my dreams. Like, I go to sleep right before I go to sleep. I meditate on, things that are bothering me or things that I want the answers to. Go to sleep, and usually my dreams work that stuff out, and I'll have the answer by the morning, like that kind of stuff. I'm trying to astral project. I'm trying to learn how to do that stuff. Like I know I did it more as a kid when I had less, social blockages. When I was a kid, I know I was doing that stuff all the time.
Are you crazy? Are you serious?
What do you mean?
Actually, like, leave your body and like hover over and watch things, that kind of astral projection.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I would definitely lucid dream. I'd wake up from dreams and go, wait, that was fun. And then go back into the dream and right where I ended, and actually start to be able to control it. And then I knew that there were certain dreams where they weren't just dreams. They were real. They were real experiences where they were out of body experiences. And they all happened, below the age of 10. And then, for some reason, and I've listened to my podcast. I've interviewed all sorts of people. I'm just talking about the tip of the iceberg here. But people have been astral spelunkering, for years. Like Doctor Strange stuff. And so that's why I put that into, Brooklyn Gladiator, as John Miller, he becomes a real master of traversing the astral plane. It becomes one of his special skills. Yeah, I have a huge interest in that. I have had wild prophetic dreams. I had this dream around 2012. I was having it a lot, where because I was worried, like a lot of people, like what the hell is going to happen? Is it the end of the world? Is it just a shift of consciousness? I made a movie called Don Peyote about it, where basically I was just like running around like a chicken without my head, trying to get, figure out information, before it happened, to try to figure out what's coming. And so this dream that I would have was this. It was recurring. I would have this dream where I'm in an airplane and I'm flying over Manhattan, and then the plane, loses control, and we're going down, but I'm so calm. No matter how hard I try to freak out, I'm just looking around, just being like, no, this is fine. No, this is gonna be fine. And it's 0G. People are flipping, like floating around, and I'm just like, no, this is cool. This is working. Then the next thing I know, we're in the water in the Hudson, and water's filling up, but there's police boats coming, and they're coming to get us. And I'm just sitting there, and everyone is flipping out, and I'm just sitting there on the sinking plane, just being like, oh, it's fine. They're gonna let me take my seatbelt off. I'm like totally sane, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna get me. Everything's gonna be cool. And that was my I believe my subconscious telling me, don't worry, everything's gonna be cool, man. Everything's gonna be cool. And that's and I feel like, that's what's happening now. A lot of people are falling victim to their fears.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can just somehow remain cool in those scenarios, that you'll find out that the universe conspires in your favor to help you through those situations.
It's funny that you say conspires, because in your podcast you talk about stoner conspiracy theories.
Yes. What about them?
Everybody who does, is it required that they like a little bit, like right before, or
Yeah. Didn't you get the memo? Wait, you're not? Yeah. I think it's a requirement. No, I just for me, we can get into that. For me, I'm a huge advocate of that. Obviously, THC, CBDs. I think that they've proven to be not just recreational fun, but healing fun. Like, it's crazy, like how every day it's something new about that drug is revealed, about how important it is for our society. How we should be converting everything over to the plant, building things with hemp, and healing people with the oils, and so yes, I don't know if you should do it quite as much as I do, but I believe that people should definitely partake.
in moderation, as they say.
Absolutely, everything in moderation. Well, not everything in moderation. There's some shit that's too crazy, but yeah, I've always been put certain limits on that. Like, I never did anything really past that. Like, I always stuck to the organic stuff. Like never tried cocaine or anything like that, because so many of the comedians that I loved, they were gone early because of that, and I was just like, wow, so I thought it was a good choice to avoid that. And I found sativa, like, if you want to have a fun up kind of experience, that's the way to go. Yeah. So yeah, stoner conspiracies. I think I just find them fascinating. I love going down a good rabbit hole. I think the world that we're presented with, it's not all there is. This is a many layered dimension, and I feel like it's it's our job to find the truth. And a lot of times, like the truth is just so much weirder than than fiction, and it's such a gold mine. Even if half of it is true, it's like, what a crazy world we're living in. And then but all of it is just an endless well of gold to mine all sorts of stuff, all sorts of, well, everything like that I've created comes from I guess my love of conspiracy theories. Moonlake is like filled with, that's like the campier side of conspiracy theories. And then Brooklyn Gladiator is the technocracy side of conspiracy theories, where we headed. And then Fishkill, which is the prequel to Brooklyn Gladiator, that's the conspiracies that are happening right now. The headlines happening right now. It's about a detective trying to get to the bottom of a missing children's case, and he finds himself at the center of he's tumbling down a rabbit hole, and he starts questioning his own sanity, whether he's the villain in the first place. But you're going to read Fishkill and you're going to be like, when did they write this? Because it looks like I wrote it last week. It's very strange.
Well,
so that's the darker side of conspiracies. So I'm covering all my bases.
there you go. I'm really excited that this is all coming out. Now, do you have any plans to turn these into a TV series at some point?
Yeah, I've been adapting Brooklyn Gladiator into a script for film or television. I'm happy either way. I think it would do well in both and mediums. And Fishkill, yeah, I would love to see that as a gritty police drama with a little sci-fi sprinkled in. And Moonlake, where we're cultivating an animated show as we speak. So knock on wood, next couple of years, we're going to start seeing, some more visual content, television, film, hopefully coming out with these titles attached.
Well, it'll be really cool because you will then give The Walking Dead a run for their money.
Oh, well, no, hey, whoa, I don't want that sacred territory. I'm not stepping on anybody's toes, If they want to help me out, fine. But that's nice of you to say.
Well, Dan, it was really, really, really great chatting with you, and stay really safe. And I love all your work, and
wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Stay safe. Bless you. Thank you for having me on. This was lovely. I really appreciate it.
All righty. Take good care.
Okay, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Always news. Always refreshing. Always candid. Always milling about. Robin Milling delivers what celebrities are saying to you.